Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Yesterday we saw an excellent Game 6 be played between the Lakers and the Heat in this battle for the 2020 NBA Championship. It was really a duel between Jimmy Butler and LeBron James, with Duncan Robinson and Anthony Davis providing a bit of help as the sidekicks to those two superstars. But it was really just between Jimmy and LeBron. We saw Jimmy lead the Heat to a win, putting up 35 points, 12 rebounds, 11 assists, 5 steals, shot 11 for 19 from the field, 1 for 3 from the three-point line, and 12 for 12 from the free throw line. Terrific game from Jimmy. This is the first time all postseason I've really seen the Heat offense run through one guy this much. And Jimmy just did a magnificent job of taking advantage of his isolation opportunities, of his screen and roll opportunities once he got a smaller guard switched onto him. This was just a masterpiece of a game from Jimmy, and I think that his defense is being really underlooked. Those 5 steals were big. A lot of them came when he stole the ball away from LeBron. I'm just so impressed with Jimmy Butler. He has escalated himself past Damian Lillard, past Luka Doncic for the time being, although I do think that Luka will be repassing him very soon because Luka's going to be spectacular within the next 2 or 3 years. But Jimmy Butler is a top 10 player for certain. He's been underrated for years, and now that he is on a team that allows him to be the superstar that he is, we are all seeing it on full display. Like I said, the steals were the biggest thing for me that is just being underlooked so much. Just all the turnovers. He forced LeBron to have 4 turnovers, and obviously LeBron has had 8 turnover games in this series, so 4 isn't that much. But a lot of those 4 were on just plays where Jimmy Butler was the player who wanted the ball more and just kind of took it away from LeBron with some nice strip steals. I was really just so impressed with how Jimmy played, and Duncan Robinson played great as well. We finally got that Duncan Robinson game where he's shooting the ball excellent. 26 points on 8 for 15 shooting, and of course 7 of those 8 made shots were three-pointers. He shot 7 for 13 from the three-point line, and this was finally the Duncan Robinson game. We said all along we hadn't gotten it yet. Well, here it was. Duncan went off 7 three-pointers, and I do think that this is something that a lot of people are going to say, well, that's not repeatable for the Heat. Duncan Robinson's not going to score 26 every game. Jimmy's not going to have that kind of Herculean performance every game. But I don't really think that they need to. What they need in order to continue to be victorious is guys like Tyler Hero, Jay Crowder, Bam Adebayo. They all need to step up. And I can say with almost full certainty that Bam will, as his neck, shoulder injury continues to progress and get better. But Hero and Crowder are the ones that they really need. We saw Hero just hit some massive free throws. I couldn't believe when the ball went into him down the stretch. With 2 seconds left, the Heat inbound the ball to the rookie to hit some free throws. That's just crazy. But Hero does need to play better. He needs to knock down his open shots like we saw Duncan do in this game. Going in, Hero had the much better numbers in the finals than Robinson, and if Robinson is unable to replicate his performance, then they're going to need Hero to step up and play that role as a secondary scorer off of Jimmy Butler. Jay Crowder shot 4 for 13 from the field. And once again, he's another guy that's going to have to fill in those baskets once Duncan Robinson cools off. And I think it's inevitable that he will, because the Lakers, first of all, are going to play better defense on him. I would be shocked if we saw Kyle Kuzma get any more minutes on Duncan Robinson, because Kuzma was just atrocious on him. He fouled him numerous times. Just gave him a lot of way too open looks. It wasn't pretty. Anthony Davis, we saw have some troubles. Well, actually, no. I have to talk about LeBron before I talk about AD, because LeBron was spectacular in this game. 40 points, 13 rebounds, 7 assists, 15 for 21 shooting, 6 for 9 from 3. That's got to be close to LeBron's career high for three-pointers made, because 6 three-pointers is very impressive, especially for a guy with the kind of shooting numbers that LeBron does. He was knocking him down tonight, and that's something that certainly won't carry over, because regression to the mean is a thing, and it's going to come at some point. LeBron's not going to continue shooting 6 for 9. He's not going to shoot 67% from the field, from the 3-point line, excuse me, for the rest of the series. But that kind of shooting was just incredible from him. Only got to the line 6 times. The Heat have done a good job preventing him from getting to the line too much, and that's something that the Lakers need to avoid when it comes to Jimmy Butler, because Jimmy shot 12 free throws and he made all 12 of them, so you can't allow him to get to the line so much. And a big part of that may have been Anthony Davis looked very hobbled in this game throughout. Obviously, he had the big ankle injury at the end of the first half, but really, it seems like this guy is injured all the time. In this series, especially, he's been flopping all over on the ground all the time, got some kind of injury going on. And while we're talking about flopping, don't get me started on KCP. He had multiple egregious flops in that game. Times where someone, is just barely runs their hand past his face and he goes, "Whoa!" And they call an offensive foul or a push-off or something. Drives me crazy, but we did see a solid performance from KCP. 16 points on 6 for 15, 3 for 8 from 3. But it's Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. Do you want him shooting 15 times? I'm going to continue this exercise by pointing out another player that shot the ball 15 times. Anthony Davis. Do you want Anthony Davis and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope taking the same amount of shots in a game? No, you do not. So AD has to be more aggressive. Obviously, you don't say that too frequently for a guy that finishes 28 and 12, but it just looked like he was very passive for a lot of times in this game and wasn't looking for his shot. And they've been at their best when he has been looking for his shot and being aggressive on the offensive end of the floor. That turnaround jumper has been absolutely lethal in this postseason. And while I don't completely agree with him taking it as much as he does due to his brute strength and ability to get big finishes at the rim, it's still a highly effective shot, and I think that he needs to shoot it more and can't play as passive as he did in this Game 5. I think I might have called it Game 6 earlier in the video, but it was Game 5. So, a little bit of a correction there. We saw Kendrick Nunn play pretty well. I don't expect that to continue because I think that Kendrick Nunn has been pretty poor throughout this playoff run for the Heat. But 14 points on 6 for 11 shooting and 2 for 4 from 3 is pretty good. We did see him get a little overconfident maybe and have a few heat check 3-point attempts. He has such ugly form. Ew, it's just not pretty, but yeah, solid game from him, and if he can keep playing like that, it makes them better. But really, I think it comes down to Hero, Crowder, and Adebayo stepping up. Danny Green and Markieff Morris did have some mental lapses in the final minute. I guess you can't fault Green for taking that shot, but I guess if anything, that would be more of a Frank Vogel mental lapse for having Green on the court despite his poor shooting throughout this playoffs. I think he must be shooting in the 20s this playoffs because it seems like he just can't hit the broadside of a barn on those 3-point attempts. And then obviously Markieff threw the ball away when he had an open Danny Green, although you really don't want Danny Green shooting another 3-point attempt for the win after the one before that just clanged right off the rim. But LeBron was also open. I think you kind of want the ball in that guy's hands after he dropped a 40 bomb. A 40 bomb? Like, LeBron and Jimmy were great. That's the story of the game. The role players need to step up on both teams, like I said, with Hero, Crowder, and Adebayo. But also for the Lakers, they need guys like Kyle Kuzma and Rajon Rondo to step up their game a little bit. We saw good play from Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. We saw good play from Alex Caruso in this game for the most part, but Rondo's got to play a lot better. He's been the third best player on this team for a long stretch of time. I definitely think that Kentavious Caldwell-Pope has surpassed him as the Lakers' third best player in this Miami Heat finals series, but Rondo needs to step up. Dwight Howard looks unplayable. Don't get me started on that play with Jimmy Butler when he absolutely whacked him in the head. Oh, I despise Dwight Howard, and I think that if he came to the Bucks, I would no longer be a Bucks fan because this guy just makes me so angry watching him play. He thinks he's such a bad guy and so cool, and I do not like Dwight Howard, but He looks unplayable, and I'd be surprised if he gets. I mean, 15 minutes seems like a lot. Like, what is he bringing, Frank Vogel? What is he bringing to the court besides the ability to make people mad that makes him playable? I don't really know. That's my little rant. But really, this was about Jimmy and LeBron, and I can't talk about those two enough. Like, Jimmy's complete dominance, we saw him take over the offense. It was in his hands every possession. Every shot seemed to be created by him. I mean, he created, I think it was 22 of their 38 shots in this game. He had 11 made buckets and 11 assists. Just a fantastic game. He's a superstar, and you'll love to see it because this series looks like it might start to get even more competitive than it had been in games 4 and 5. This was one of the best finals games I've ever seen. Maybe the best one since that 2016 chase down block that we saw from LeBron against Andre Iguodala that they showed during the game last night. And that stat about how many games LeBron and Iggy have played against each other in the finals was just mind-blowing. But yeah, Jimmy Butler, fantastic. LeBron, fantastic. AD, step it up a bit. I still think the Lakers are going to win in 6 games. That was my prediction going in. I still think it's going to happen because we've just got too much talent on that end in LeBron and Anthony Davis. But I hope that it's another really exciting, really close, really fun game because I had a heck of a lot of fun watching Game 5, and I hope that Game 6 is just the same. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Leave a like and subscribe if you did. Let me know your prediction for Game 6 in the comment section down below. Ladies and gentlemen, I will see you all again very soon.